Big man ting, smash the like button and subscribe so the YB can now bring some exclusive proprietarily sources. This ain't no HP source like the HP source that them idiots talking about. Oh man, Tyson Fury failed. His A test failed. This is true. Leaked, yeah? Wiretap sources. I'm hearing that Team Wilder are trying their damnedest. They're thinking of ways, they're hiring lawyers. We know how it loves to hire lawyers, especially when it comes to Eddie Hearn, for Eddie Hearn to slay in New York court. But anyway, back to this. Fact of the matter is, I'm hearing Deontay Wilder and his team are looking for ways to push this date back. Yeah? Because listen, what we do know is, if they don't push the date back, i.e. the July 18th date, which is being talked about, their SHIT is going to be getting pushed in. Yeah, literally. Think of that. Think of what I've just said there. Personify that. Turn it into reality. Yeah, is SHIT will be going in if you don't push the date back. Yeah, that's what will be happening. Because his cheeks will be getting split. Why? In fact, you know what? It don't even matter, Wilder, man. No word of a lie. Even if they give you a year, you've just had too young. You've had 15 years. I keep hearing people saying, "Oh, well, yeah, no, but he ain't been boxing long," and no, he has been boxing long. He's been boxing longer than pretty much anyone I can think in history. 15 years, you know. If that ain't long, I don't know what is. He's going into his 16th year, by the way. 2020 is his 16th year, no joke. So, with that in mind, I do feel sorry for him, because I understand that you want to give yourself the best chance, and probably, to be honest, it doesn't hurt. Pushing the date back wouldn't hurt. It probably does in terms of probability. It probably does increase the probability that you can do something different, but still. Number one, there was some news that George Foreman was going to be brought in, but we've heard nothing really about that. Meaning that if you're going to keep the same team, you might as well do the fight next month, to be honest. Because if you keep the same team, July 2020 or July 2023, it don't make a difference. Because Jay Diaz clearly ain't got a clue what he's talking about. Number one, he came out and complained about the costume. Number two, he came out and complained about the costume. Yeah. Number two, he thinks that the fight shouldn't have been stopped. Number three, he's been trailing you for God knows how long, and still, you ain't got no skills whatsoever. So we know that he ain't no good. Mark Breland, he just seems to be a bit of a side piece, bless him. Gets pushed out, gets locked out of changing rooms, left out there crying and whatnot. Disgraceful behaviour. Yeah, you've kept him on, but still, disgraceful behaviour. Nonetheless, because you've kept him doesn't justify how you treat someone. You be consistent. You be a true person. You be a true man. Yeah, you can be upset with people, but it shouldn't have taken you long to realise what he was doing. Out of the 45 fights you've had before, there's a reason he never threw the towel in. But he never threw the towel in then. Yeah, you earned that. You earned your actions earned having the towel thrown in. But anyway, I digress. The fact of the matter is, these two cats, yeah, Mark Breland was a good fighter, but that's another thing. Even if he was, yes, he's got loads of experience, but that doesn't necessarily make you a good trainer. And that's another thing on the George Foreman business. Number one, we don't know this whole Wilder's team desperately trying to push the date back. Number one, we don't know if they're even going to bring a new trainer in, which will give him a better chance in my opinion. But put that to one side, even if they do bring George Foreman in, who's George Foreman trained? Seriously, who's he trained? And that's the issue here. You've got a bunch of unknowns. You're just adding more unknowns. Now, like I said, I'd take more unknowns over the certainty of Mark Breland and Jay Diaz for sure. Because we know what happens there. We've seen it 15 years. And there's been no real improvement under pressure. Yeah, we've seen some improvement. Yeah, I think arguably you can say Wilder has improved at slaying bums. But when it comes to under the lights, it hasn't improved at all. His first world title fight against Bermain Stavern couldn't stop him. His second world title fight against Fury couldn't stop him. His first, when I say world title fight, I mean elite fight. His third one against Fury gets his cheeks busted, gets stopped. And like I keep saying, ultimately you've got a bag of trainers who they're all like, never mind George Foreman, and what has he really proved as a trainer? What's Jay Diaz and Mark Breland ever done really? What have they? Wilder is their creation. Wilder, I'm pretty sure anyway. Maybe someone can disprove me on this, but from what I understand, Mark Breland and Jay Diaz, they're all in with Wilder. That is their creation. 15 years. They don't have anything else. Now, I sometimes not slag off, but I sometimes criticise AJ's trainer. But even having said that, at least he's got. Yeah, Carl Fox wasn't the most. What's the name? Yeah, he wasn't the most technically gifted, but still, at least he's got a. AJ's trainer's got like a. He's the head of the UK Olympic team, and you see the people who come through there like Joe Joyce and whatnot, whoever else, all the fighters who come through there. Rob McCracken's touched them at some point. In some way. So the caliber's there. And not to mention, like I said, at least he's had previous world champions. Regardless of how flawed they were, he had world champions who beat. But George Groves was technically very good. And we saw what the Cobra. We saw him get cobra'd and fall on his own leg by way of Rob McCracken. Do you know what I'm saying? So Rob McCracken, he's got previous history. Jay Diaz and Mark Breland, what they got? And even George Foreman, what have they got? You need someone with some. But at this particular point, if you're talking about needing more time, you need to bring someone in who's at least got some sort of quantified levels here in terms of training. Now, who that is, I'm not a boxing historian. I'm not sure, but you need to think about it seriously. An actual boxing trainer. Don't be bringing in none of these whoever else is. But anyway, back to the point. Fact of the matter is, I'm hearing Wilder and his team are desperately trying to change his date, and I can't blame him for that. I'd do the same. Ideally, you'd want 3 years, but still, what worries me is it's going to be more of this. I just don't see Wilder's ego. I just don't see it in him. I don't see him saying to himself, you know what, we need something more here. If I'm honest, I thought he'd get rid of Breland and just keep Jay Diaz. Imagine that. But I think Breland was known as having a good strong 1-2, and to be fair to Wilder, that's probably his best asset is 1-2. So I think Breland, I don't think was known, from what I understand and what I've seen, Breland wasn't known for massive inside fighting or really good hooks and uppercuts. So I think the one asset that Wilder does has come from Breland. What the F has Jay Diaz given him in 15 years? Seriously. Not being horrible, but genuinely. Take a step back now and tell me, what has he imprinted on that fighter? Because I'm positive Breland gave him the 1-2 and the right hand. And even then, the right hand, people call it powerful, in my opinion, untested. But still, scrap that. That's for another day. I feel sorry for Wilder's team. They're running around the place, trying to find little loopholes, trying to get out of the date. Just turn up on July 18th, and don't pull no bookie stuff. I know I'm also hearing that if they can't get out of it contractually, because apparently this, like I said, this rematch, this third rematch was the third fight rematch date was contractually bound within 6 months or something like that. But if they can't get out of it, I'm hearing also they might pull I'm injured kind of business, a planned injury a month before. So I'm calling it now. Number one, don't be surprised if you hear Wilder's team try and push this thing back to November, December. Number two, don't be surprised if we get to May and we hear about, I've hurt my leg. And it'd definitely be his leg, because we know that's his Achilles heel, literally. Yeah. Oh man, my little skinny legs didn't hold up again. And you can't really blame him, to be fair. It's a great excuse. Because, listen, what can you... If the minute Wilder blames his legs, all anyone's got to do is type in Wilder's legs on Google, and anyone who looks at that will agree with him. Yeah, you know what? He ain't lying, is he? He clearly has got a problem with his legs.